welcome in, welcome back to my channel, Hostess of the Gnosis. If you're new, please keep in mind I do cuss, I do ramble. It's a part of the way that I channel. I'm working on it. But what comes through, comes out. It's not always going to make sense right off the bat, but I can promise you it always comes full circle. Okay? If you like my vibe, if you like what I have to offer, please like, share, subscribe. It helps me get out the messages to those who need them, I guess. Anyway, for those of you who are returning, thank you so much for your continued support and for being a part of the weirdness with me. Let's just dive right into it, shall we? So how about these energies, huh? It's some bullshit, huh? I'm just kidding. No, it's been intense. And for me personally, yesterday was a little easier. Today, a lot easier, okay? Today being Saturday, August 16th, okay? But this reading is timeless. I mean, the messages within it, so on, so forth. But yeah, the earth has been experiencing a sort of detox. And so a lot of what you're going to be feeling through that is, I mean, if anyone's ever been, addicted to some type of substance and had to detox from it, it's going to have a lot of those symptoms. Cold sweats, anxiety, restlessness, hot flashes, chills, headaches, runny nose, yawning, very vivid dreams, having to go to the bathroom a lot. Okay, 2 came out. We have third house and Aquarius. Third house is of communication, like blood relatives and inherited property and such. But I just need one at a time. What do you want to tell us? We got third house again and Aquarius again. Persistent. Third time's a charm? I really only want one at a time. What do you want to let us know today? Thank you. 8th house. Death, rebirth, transformation, and transcendence. Willingness or need to let go, to yield, to put oneself in another's hands. Things like sex and death require such an attitude and capacity and hold potential for rebirth, etc. Being limited by others' ideas or values, your talents and resources of others, and your partner's money or resources. Okay? Okay. What else? What about the 8th house? Ah, shit. Anyway. That startled me. I thought they were going to go fly. Oh, shit, they almost did. That was this one. Spirits are fucking with me. I don't blame them. Anyway. Sun, male energy, creativity, willpower, independence, and assertiveness. So maybe the masculine collective is going to be experiencing a sort of rebirth or transcendence. Thank God. Oh goodness. So maybe, or maybe you're having a renewed sort of mindset, regarding your own masculine energy, okay? You might be having a rebirth of that just within yourself, alright? Or someone close to you. But, the sun also being related to independence, it can also be related to wealth, okay? You could be having, a sort of financial breakthrough by proxy to someone. I don't know. Let me get one more, please. We gonna find out what this is about. Okay. Lilith, the dark moon. Repressed feelings, emotions surfacing, the shadows, secrets, darker sexuality, dark dreams, raw feminine power. Alright, so it could be that, you know, the raw feminine power, the raw feminine essence rising is causing, in effect, you know, because energy has to rise or whatever to meet or match or change form, okay? The masculine is seeming to want to rise to meet the feminine, okay? To put themselves in the feminine shoes and see, you know, where they've been fucking up, which is good. And it's also good that it seems to fit, the feminine collective is, they're stopping with that. The Emperor has no clothes bullshit, okay? They're letting a motherfucker know when he's standing naked, okay? Instead of giving him false hope for stuff, you know, not speaking of, we have cruelty. You know, when guys play games and shit, a lot of times women just put up with it and they don't say anything because it's the nice thing. It's just being nice, but it enables, you know, and if you're not letting them know, then how are they supposed to learn that this is not going to get results, right? If women just keep being nice and, oh, well, he's trying it. You know, we got to hold them more accountable and be fair and show them, like, this is what we truly expect of you. Because that, you know, it does build resentment when they're confused and everything. Not defending their obvious digging their heels in the ground, either male or female, when it comes, you know, to the overall collective fuckery here. But, yeah, the cruelty, I think a lot of masculines are seeing, you know, to what degree that's really gone to here. Alright, perception of unity. Let me get one more, please. Yeah, and the whole time, letting themselves be fooled into this perception of unity while behaving cruelly. Like, it's a whole thing of, like, diluting yourself. Yep, deception came out. I'm not going to take these three, or four, because that's too many at once, but, you know, it popped out like deception. Like, it's kind of confirming what I was saying. Like, they were deceiving themselves in partaking in obviously cruel acts that they wouldn't want done to themselves, and then talking about how, you know, we're moving as one, we need to work as one kind of thing. That's fucking bullshit. Anywho, can I get one more, please? You know, I think we can all agree, like, you know, if you're willing to hold yourself accountable for the bullshit and, like, stop invalidating the crap that you put somebody through and all that, male, female, whatever, purple, pink, polka dotted, I don't give a fuck. If you have been hurt and been abused and suppressed, you deserve to have someone say, I'm sorry. I am truly sorry. I recognize the fuckery and the bullshit, and I'm going to change the behavior. You know what I mean? Rebellion, right. Okay, so that's what led to the rebellion, the rebelling of the female. Like, what did you expect? We're just gonna sit around and take it? Inner and outer work. Exactly. You gotta work on more than just the outer. You gotta be able to be willing to see beyond just the outer, okay? And that's why I think it's taken a lot of them by surprise, is because they're like, oh, well, all of a sudden, and they want to accuse every woman of having, well, you listen to this feminist, and it's like, oh, but contraire, dare to believe, we do think for ourselves, we just ain't told you shit. Been feeling it. Alright, anyway, I forgot where I was even going with that. Whatever. We have friend, keeper of trust, companion, support, sharing joy. The ADHD is strong today. No amount of meds will help, I guess. I cannot even begin to describe the level of, like, just I have been at the past few days, because I feel so much better. It's like so much of that heavy energy that just had me feeling like shit just phew. And so yeah, the fuckery is commencing. The weirdness is just effervescent and fluffy and sparkly. I love it. Alright, so we have friend, keeper of trust, companion, support, sharing joy, employee, worker, service, consultation. Right, yep. Instead of treating someone like a friend, you were treating them like an employee. Except you weren't paying them with shit. You thought that paying them with your dick was gonna be enough. Sorry. Not sorry. Let me get a couple more, please. But, you know, a lot of guys are finding out that the stuff that a woman does, the way a woman contributes, you know, is so much more than what they had, you know, let themselves think deep enough to see, okay? That's too many at once, but I will mention them. Driver, navigator of journey, steering passage, or safe passage, welcome, young, vitality, innovation, potential growth, and then civil servant, guardian of public good, public official, administrative duty, public administration. Okay, so when I think of driver, I also think of the consciousness that drives the vessel, alright, and this card, like, kind of representing that unity, alright, between the two. And then we have young, and then civil servant, so that's kind of, letting me know about, how not holding masculines accountable for the way that, you know, they could chose to conduct themselves in the way that, I lost my train of thought. Oh well, we'll come back to it. But anyways, you know, men not holding each other accountable and giving in to this whole thing. Well, if we all agree on it, then it must be true. And we're all going to agree on what works in our favor, and we're not going to care whose backs it's built off of or anything like that, you know? It's kind of fucked. But being able to see it firsthand, like, challenger, seeker of adventures, courage, challenge, goal. Being able to see it firsthand, because a lot of guys, you know, their women get fed up, and the woman will start going to work, and at some point, they have to be left to take care of the house, or the kids, or whatever. Okay, and then they start seeing, like, oh, wait a minute. Or they go to try to hire a nanny, a maid, whatever, all separate expenses, right? And they go to find out that they had someone doing all this shit for free. For free. And they treated them like ass. Okay? And switch the roles as it applies to you, okay? Take what resonates, leave the rest. Alright? This can go for masculine or feminine energy, both, because there are people, beings, what have you, energies on both fucking ends of the polarity. And even in between, that partake in the fuckery. You know what I mean? And to whomever that is, they need to be held accountable for it, okay? I'm just going to go ahead and take both of these. I'm being told to take both of them. So we have Knight, Keeper of Honor, Armor, Battle, Loyalty, and then Doctor, Healer of Ailments, Treatment, Surgery, Diagnosis, and Compassion. Ooh, and then we have Researcher, Explorer of Truth, Exploration, Study, Rigor, Experiment. Ooh. That's kind of going deep, though. That's a really quick deep dive. Alright. Testing my weaving abilities, are we? Okay, so treating a friend, an existential companion, okay? Man and woman companion, okay? Treating like an employee, okay? So that leads to rebellion, okay? Having to challenge, okay? So that energetic presence within someone, because males have hold feminine energy and females hold masculine energy also. It keeps things balanced, alright? But when the external reflections get too out of balance, okay, it causes the internal energies to have to start to fluctuate, okay, to level it out. So, what I see here is like the whole Knight thing is, say for females, it's that inner masculine rising, okay, for males, it's that inner feminine rising, to be able to, like, level the playing field, settle the score, even it out, kind of thing. And, the Doctor here is to heal, the rift, okay? And so, instead of, you know, things having to reach a point to all-out war, it's good to see that energetically speaking, masculines are coming around to being like, okay, well, you know, maybe we fucked up, or whichever, as it applies, okay? From my perspective, I'm female, so From what I've experienced in my own personal life, I know how males can be. So that's the way I'm going to refer to it. It doesn't mean that, I have a hard stance on this, what the fuck ever. Anyway. The inner counterpart rising to balance things out, alright? Which then starts to trigger the process of, an alchemical union, a divine union, alright? And that can happen internally. And it's just like, ooh, interesting. On the bottom of this deck, the whole inner and outer work thing. Yeah. I was doing some meditating earlier today, and I got into, a whole thing of exploring, like, manifestation and how, doing the internal work, like, thinking about that process of how it manifest outward, okay, and then I started thinking about, like, the subconscious and imagination, and, like, how those who know how to, like, build an internal world for yourself, even if other people don't jive with it, like, what the fuck ever, like, you hold your imagination, and you exercise it regularly, go to Delulu land for a while, and, you start incorporating, start balancing out that dividing line between imagination, logic, feeling, rationalization, you know what I'm saying? And it start to work as a cohesive whole being, alright? And, this is making me think of, like, the external reflection of the, divine masculine or divine feminine, depending on which is needed to balance out. That's what this is making me think of, like, the emergence of that, alright? For those who've done the inner work, okay? And so maybe it's a whole thing of, you can't find that balance outside of yourself. So you've had to go within to find that balance, right? To see what it is you want, where you were treated cruelly. So your perception of unity could only be found within self. It could not be found outside of self, okay? So you had to rebel from your external expectations, external experience, which then starts to put a divide between body and inner self, in which that's when some real fucking shit kicks off on an even broader scale, because it's like, look, we already had the external reflections of start to go in balance. Now we're trying to divide, against body and soul. No, that's not gonna happen, okay? We have dreamy, innocence, awe, daydreaming, admiration, childlike curiosity, listening, someone waiting patiently for you. Okay, that's friend. Oh, this was weird because it's what I was talking about with the imagination. Okay? Because what do people do to, like, people who are real dreamy and are into fantasy stuff? Like, even if they know, and, like, they're not trying to take it literally and shit. Like, they're like, y'all are fucking weird. Poison, illness, plague, intentional and experimental infection of another with something to cause mental or biological harm or death, disease, pestilence, a contagion. Alright, that also goes in with what was on the bottom of that whole researcher thing, like an experiment, alright? Well, let's see what happens when we try to kill the imagination. You get what I'm saying? And, like, the feminine polarity is very whimsical, very dreamy, very la la la. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so you can't separate. There's going to be a wildness associated with the feminine, and there's no not having it, right? And it's there for a reason. And so trying to push that out of the feminine has triggered something that, you don't want to fuck with that beast. Because when our beast rises, he ain't fucking, So, this could be indicative of that presence rising and stepping forth, What else do you want to tell us about this? Training, childhood, learning a new skill, doing something for the first time. Okay, what is that about? Struggling to come out of the shell, dependency based on lack or insecurity, need to tend to inner child, not sure about one's true self. Okay, so this has to do with the feminine, remembering who the fuck she is, okay? Because having to, or even masculine, like I said, take it as it fucking resonates, please. When you lose yourself in a role, or in societal expectations, marital expectations, parental expectations, da-da-da-da-da, you lose track of your own identity, okay? And when you're told that everything that you are inherently is defunct, is evil, is wrong, is just not enough, too weird, too loud, too tall, too short, too fat, too skinny, blah, 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 blah. Okay, it is hard to remember who the fuck you were, okay? And so it is, like, in order to buck back, like, as it came out with the tricycle came out with, Challenger, it is like, you know, challenging something for the first time and standing in an authority that you forgot that you even fucking had, okay? And it's hard. It's hard to stand by that when so many have been repressed to the point where their very survival depends on staying in an abusive or oppressive situation. I mean, you gotta think, man or woman, if you haven't been in the workforce for 15 or 20 fucking years because somebody said that they got your back as long as you help raise the family, they didn't include that they wanted all this other shit on demand and that you had to kill all your dreams and hobbies and whatever. But imagine trying to get back in the workforce after something like that. Are you going to be able to make enough to maintain a household? To get a car? To get insurance? Like, come on. So that whole thing of, like, dependency based on lack or insecurity, okay? And then we have resorting, or blah, 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 meeting to discuss a situation or person, spreading gossip, sensitive information, being made public, gathering to gossip or talk about someone, and secrets coming out, okay? So yeah, the whole thing of, like, not being sure of self and need to tend to inner child, that could also be reflective in the party that has been doing the oppressing, okay? It could be that, you know, that dirty laundry's coming out. Enough people have been speaking out against what's been happening that it's no longer just flying under the radar, okay? And it's happening in such a way, like, you know, it's all over the place, guys. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Alright, that whole stupid thing is, like, the male loneliness epidemic and all this. No, just stop the bullshit already. Like, stop the bullshit. Like, I can't sit and keep pretending to put fucking sugar on a turd. Alright, I'm just going to call it what it is. Alright, these two came out. I'm being told to put it back. What the fuck? Okay. But, you know, for too long we've sat around, like, tiptoeing around feelings when we're not even given the slightest fucking consideration for ours unless it's beneficial for them. It's not right. It isn't right. To be treated like something that's just fuckable and that's it, it's fucked. It's existentially fucked. Okay? It's too many. And it is scary to think about because, like, you know, on the masculine's end, it's hard to admit when you've fucked up, when you've done wrong, okay? But to keep digging your heels in and keep blaming the very motherfuckers that you've been oppressing and abusing and treating like shit for so long, come the fuck on. What kind of solution's gonna come out of that, right? Alright, so we got close with the shadow side. Seen as an equal by what others find to be scary, monstrous, predatory, etc. Shadow guide. Healing the shadow. Loving that which is typically feared. Okay, this makes me think of, like, those who are like, I choose the bear. Or women who have gotten really comfortable with their darkness. Alright, realizing that it is an ally. You have that for a reason. That is there to protect you. And to keep protecting someone from what is set to protect you is a really dangerous thing, and I think we've all been learning that. Now we see, so we take what we learn and we, we apply it, okay? And that whole thing, like I said, like, you know, your inner beast, it's there to protect you that night, okay? And we have the hippocampus, awakening the subconscious, imagination calling, source of magic, the incomprehensible power of the subconscious and imagination, okay? Again, like I was saying, it holds a lot of power, and I'm just gonna put it this way: the whole collective phenomenon of women and the whole dark romance shit is so many all at once, all jumping on. Like, you gotta think of that. I'm not gonna say too much, but those of you who know about manifestation and like the power of the subconscious, and you get what I'm saying. Like, all of us at the same time, you know, thinking on the same wavelength, bro. We know what's up. We know what's up. Let me get just a couple more. Damn, it feels good not to feel like fucking shit anymore. Okay, just knocked my cards all up in my lap. Shit. That's like about choosing the bear, and there's the bear. Anyways, I thought it was funny. Go over there, assholes. Alright, so we got dangerous buildup of pressure. These two landed on my lap, so I'm just going to take these two. And then Phoenix, rising from what was meant to destroy you. A situation is or has transformed someone or you. And then, of course, we had that whole 8th house death, rebirth, transformation. These bastards off the ground. Or the floor, rather. Whatever. Beneath my feet. It's so awkward sitting here like this because I don't eat. Okay, that was on the floor. Alright. I don't sit on a chair. I sit on like a little round exercise ball. And so anytime I have to bend down to pick something up, I always feel like I'm about to like go flying face first to the shelf under my desk here. Anyway. Don't know why I said it. Okay, moving on. What else you want to tell us? Alright, well, here we go. Higher self, divine masculine. Alright. What about the higher self, divine masculine? Huh? What's it about? Whoa, let's not throw the cards. Hand, cooperate, please. Jeez. It's hot as fuck in here right now. I'm sweating. Turn my ceiling fan on. I don't want to turn on my damn air conditioner because, one, I like the sound of having the window open, and two, that motherfucker's loud. Alright, Warren Envy, dark motives. Lovely. So the divine masculine being like, this is war. This is Sparta. Alright. You gotta love Leonidas, right? We got the sun again. Alrighty. Charisma, assertiveness. Ooh, Alright, yeah, I think we'll like a fucking divine masculine who's assertive and fucking has charisma, not the same motherfucker, just wearing different skin. We have, Aquarius, being altruistic, being collaborative, innovating, and creating. And then, justice, honor, righteous, victory. Okay. Alright, so it could be that this, divine masculine presence, is like talking about like this war and dark motives. Because they're noticing this, the masculine collective, ooh, shit. Higher self, divine feminine. Okay. He's coming to get justice for the feminine rising because, this is so crazy because it's the age of Aquarius, alright? Male, age of Aquarius. Okay, you get what I'm saying? I hope I'm making sense. Justice for the feminine, okay? Ooh. I don't know how to, let's see, let's find a good way to put this into words. So, the masculine that is what you need is going to be arriving. We'll just put it that way, okay? Those of you who have a divine counterpart, you're aware of this, okay? You know what I'm referring to here. All right, the wheels are in motion. Breakthrough with action. See? What else, please? Oop, whoop. Okay. Come here. Happy child, purity, innocence, joy, childlike wonder. Exactly. Yeah, the divine masculine is not gonna sit back and watch these motherfuckers kill what's precious to them, okay? If they divine feminine, you are precious to them. We have Aries, Leo, and then something hidden to be revealed or hiding behind the veil, okay? I'm going to put those back because I only need like one at a time, two at a time. What else you want to say? Oh, shit, don't do that. Any more out of this deck? You want me to put it back? What are we doing? Alright, so we're going to put this deck back. At the bottom of it, we have the letter N. Alright, so concerning this... Ooh, my stomach's that roll. Concerning this divine masculine rising justice for the divine feminine, pertinent to the imagination, subconscious. Alright, what else are you wanting to let us know, please? What do we need to know? Okay, we've got, I get so frustrated with all of this because I can't see you, feel you, touch you, etc. the way I am drawn to do so, and it makes me feel hopeless. Okay, so that means you're aware of a masculine presence, a feminine presence, a divine counterpart presence within yourself, and sometimes you get frustrated or feel hopeless because you're trying to find them outside of yourself and you're struggling to, okay? We have supernatural. I want to talk to someone about this connection, but I'm afraid they'll call me crazy or won't take it seriously. Exactly, because it's the supernatural nature of it. You know, there are people that are very quick to throw labels around and shit. They, you know, if they don't have the capacity to understand, they're not going to. You know what I'm saying? So I understand how that feels. Well, any of you motherfuckers need somebody to talk to about it, I'm here, because my weird ass, I know what you mean. I definitely. Alright. Infatuation and man. Okay, so where it all, yeah. So it could be that, you know, this is just referring to the infatuation with man because of his expression, physical expression, okay? And that which you've held within you. That's part of the whole thing with the imagination and subconscious is giving form to that essence that you've become aware of. I'm going to put these back, take this one. Afraid of losing isn't a valid reason not to tell, okay? That's not to say that the divine masculine's not going to have like human form or something, or not going to look like a man or whatever. It's just that getting distracted with what's only been present outside of yourself, okay? And thinking that that's the only option. You get what I'm saying? If that makes sense. And men in positions of power and stuff who've been aware of this whole thing, having not said anything, think that they're going to lose out on keeping their hand in the honey pot and keeping things going their way. Like, that's not a valid reason not to, anyways. Every dream that has endured through life with you was placed in your heart for a reason, and that reason isn't simply to escape your reality. It's because it's a part of the reality you're meant to create. I know it seems impossible, delusional even, but how did anything become a something at all? This is not supposed to be easy. Creation is not for the fearful kind. Well, there you go. So, like, keeping women from their creative, their creative nature, their creative force, their divine nature, and making them out to be something that they're not. Man did that. Not men, but man. Okay? Exactly. Woman. Man being afraid to lose to woman, to her dreams, is not a valid fucking reason, okay? I think I did a reading last year that was very similar to this. I kept getting channeling the message, we don't belong to them, we weren't made for them, kind of thing. And that's not saying all, okay? Everything's here for a reason, but some of us, we know what we were made for. And we know when it ain't it. Anything else out of this deck? Here. On the bottom, we have angelic, okay? I feel like I might be crazy and wonder if you're even real, but then again, what's real anyway anymore? Whatever comes next, we'll face it together. I feel this connection too, and I'm finding my way to you. Well then. That was straightforward. I like it. Alright, we'll pull some of these and then I'll get out the weirdness jar. And then I'll call it. Okay. Okay, that's 2. Maybe 3? No, it's 2. Alright. The 2 that came out, I'm not going to take them, but I'm going to mention it. Numbing, self-medication, addictions, irrational behavior, and loss. Ghosted, cowardice, disappearing act, okay? It could be the way that some are responding to this change, to this shift, okay? To the, that whole thing of, like, people wanting to feel sorry for themselves because somebody doesn't want them, because they don't want to change and don't want to quit being an asshole or oppressing someone or demanding to have abuse being accepted. So now they want to feel lost and numb and, wow, poor pitiful me. That's the most ridiculous shit I've ever fucking heard in my life. Oh, I'm going to be sad because I can't abuse you anymore. Are you fucking kidding me? Alright. 2 came out. Spiritually woke. Self-awareness, cutting through illusions, detaching from ego and snack. Obsession, physical attraction, sex appeal. Okay? So on one side, you've had this whole one collective that's been learning from shit, growing, expanding, taking every variable, every consequence, trying to balance it out and progress. And then the other that's just like I was talking about, keeping their hand in the fucking honey pot, being like, oh, this good. Good God. The weirdness is strong today, guys. Bear with me. I'm not going to apologize for being who I am, but at the same time, I'm aware it can be a bit much. Anyway, and then we have the cleanse, detox, ridding negativity, purification. That's kind of how I started off the reading. The overall vibe with the earth, and feminine energy is very connected to the earth, and so we're a lot of times going to mirror the earth's anyway. Recalling memories, missing someone, reminiscing. All right, that longing, that longing deep in you for a place or a person that you know hasn't existed in your lifetime, in your experience within this body, within this time. Okay, that's been a collective thing that's been going on for a few years now. Really strong, especially since 2019 in particular. Just a minute. And again, we've got numbing, self-medicating addictions, irrational behavior. Let me get one more. Alright, so while one part of the collective is detoxing and all this, and remembering, what all of this was even for, like life in general was even for, what any of it, and truly trying to remember, who they were before all this, what they loved. It's triggering, like I was talking about, the poor pitiful me response on the other side that has for so long been floating around in this bullshit energy thinking, oh, it's fine because this benefits me. It doesn't. I'm not the one being abused. I'm not the one being oppressed. So this is fine. Now they want to try to, getting scared, heavy emotions, and they're in distress because they realize they're losing what had been a gift to them. We have on the bottom of the deck today, good vibes, present in the moment. Exactly. And today does feel like that. Today has been a very good vibing day for me personally. I haven't had any trouble staying in the moment and just, vibing with the shift in energy because it's been really fucking nice to feel again. Okay? We're gonna get the jar of weirdness. Man, it's gonna be funny as hell one of these days. I was gonna shake this and I'm sitting on this exercise ball and the day it decides to pop while I'm recording, it's gonna be fucking hilarious. Alright. We have got things that you do. I'm gonna try my best to hold these up where you can see them. But they're really small. Gilding the lily. Your mind. Now we have the light prism thingy. Living. Male. Make believe. Are you serious? Two loved ones. Two loved ones. Ten of Pentacles. The Empress. spiral. Surprise guess, because that's like often like manifesting ascension growth, okay? And then we have a rabbit with a spicy pepper in his mouth. To get another one. This is pretty self-explanatory though. This is great. Alright, then we have the gloves, like work gloves, okay? I love. And then we have the crown. This to me usually represents like sovereignty or, you know, royalty. Comes after. So they're about a book. The right gear. A running shoe. It's a New Balance. It's a green New Balance shoe. 10. That's the second 10 minutes because we had 10 of Pentacles. And then we have the lamb. She's cute with a little flower in her hair. Okay? So that's basically talking about, this is interesting because things that you do, gilding the lily, your mind. Okay, so gilding the lily is usually like wasting time. So like your loved ones, like you were just wasting time daydreaming, right? But you were, because like how something becomes something, it has a waveform, or a wavelength and a waveform. That's how something becomes into matter, okay? Bringing that into a living male, okay, make-believe, alright? They think that it's two loved ones, like they believe that you made this up, that it's just some dream, okay? But the Nine of Pentacles, the Empress, okay, and the Spiral, like you have, they think it's just make-believe, but they underestimate the power of manifestation and the power of the subconscious and imagination, okay? Surprise guess, and it has this rabbit with the pepper, okay? You can look up the symbology of like the white rabbit, masculine energy, and so forth, okay? The work gloves. I love, alright? So, usually gloves, you know, are like when building, creating, gardening, okay, harvesting. What you love from, you know, rising into your sovereign self, okay, comes after completing the story, okay, your story. You have to have the right gear. The New Balance shoe, I think of like soul, okay? And green, the color green is often associated with the heart, and this male here also has like the green hat, okay? And then 10, and then this lamb here, alright? Lost my train of thought, damn it. Oh yeah, okay, so everything coming full circle, like completion, alright? Fulfillment, alright, of this, pure promise, this pure, how else to put it? Help me out here. I lost my train of thought. Anyways, it'll come back to me later. But the gist of it is like having the right gear to bring this full circle, to bring it into completion. Okay. The lamb could also be representative of taking what's inside, like a pure heart, pure imagination, or whatever, and it being embodied. Okay, so purity embodied. Okay, and purity can come in many forms. You have pure evil. You have pure desire. You have pure innocence. Like purity isn't always like anyway. If you know, you know. Like the ones that these messages are for are way past, you know, the dogmatic indoctrination shit and all that. So, anywho, that's what I have for you today. And I hope that there was something in there for you that serves you well, gave you some confirmation that you needed, or eased your mind about something going on. Kind of letting you see where the energy's at, and why it's fluctuating the way it is right now, what it's going toward. That's what it's going toward. The purge is making room for that which has been being held internally to emerge externally. So that's a really good thing. Alright, I know. There was a knock confirmation. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you guys. And I will see you next time. Bye.